Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Mondays with Max. How you guys all doing tonight? I am doing good. I actually have my daughter sitting right next to me. She's helping to monitor the chat. And my wife is home, so it was nice having missing my son, but it was nice to see. I hadn't seen my daughter in a few months, and hadn't seen my wife in a week. So yeah, it was a good night. So that's why I'm going a little bit late tonight. So nothing to do with the other thing that will not be named and will not be talked about. So ground rules for tonight is if you are going to say something about it, you will be timed out initially. And then after that, you'll be timed out for the entire stream. So we're not talking about that tonight. Feel free. If you still want to be watching that, that's fine, but not going to talk about it here. So anyway, Crypto for Seniors, thank you for the $5 super chat. Very much appreciate that. Let's see who else is here. Retro Mike is here. Second TL. Nick the Best. Geek of all trades. Yo. Savage White Zero. Benny Del Greco. Let's see who else is here. Scrolling down. Burn. Son of a Rabbit. Mining King. Yes. Let's effing go. Nas City, 10 minutes to midnight, Black Hat Team, Integra Guy 04, Brad Johnson, Jean-Francois. I love saying that name. I don't know if are you in France, Jean-Francois, or just have a French name? Because man, that'd be cool. That was an amazing Olympics. Let's see, who else? I think I already said Vinny Del Greco. Yes, Sunflower and Daughter. Yes, both. Let's see. Yeah, Daughter is Atomic Star. And Iowa gets it, and Gaming with Smokey Dan both get just under the wire. Appreciate you guys all being here. Appreciate you two for being members and all my other members as well. Very, very much appreciated. All right, guys, I don't have a lot planned because I usually come home from work and plan out the stream, then have dinner, then kind of think about it a bit, and then I got things to talk about. Tonight I didn't have any chance to do that. I actually left work a little bit early, went to the bike shop to pick up my daughter's bike, which had been just given a general tune-up, and I'm good friends with the guy, and hadn't seen him in probably, I don't know, probably like 6 months. We usually see each other out at bike races that we support and things like that. But he was in a very talkative mood, which was great. Got to hear about his family and everything else going on. So it was good being in the real world. Good hearing from a very good friend of mine who I hadn't talked to. So anyway, I was there for probably about a little over an hour. Then came home, spent some time with the wife, talked to her for a little while, and then came in, took a little cat nap for like 20 minutes, and then had dinner and sat around, talked with the family, and then finally came in here starting to prepare. And my computer was acting stupid, which I knew it was yesterday, so I knew I needed to restart it. So I had to make sure it restarted, all that kind of stuff. So not a lot of time to do any research on much of anything. So we'll kind of talk about things a little bit close to the heart, and I will be trying to catch up on the chat. So feel free, please tag me. I'm going to be trying to keep up with as much as I can, but please tag me. Vinny Doug Arker says, still sitting outside, wondering if the mosquitoes are going to come out and chase me inside. Well, it's pretty amazing. I think you're pretty much in the same longitude as me, and it's got to be dark where you are. So if you do not have mosquitoes yet, that's amazing. Amazing. And I know you're north of me, and I thought the mosquitoes are usually worse up there. But Retro Mike, wait a minute, you're in one of them red states. How can you say that? Anyway, let's see. Retro Mike, 1,000-year ban. Let's go. Hi, Almighty. Good evening. Let's see. Atomic Superstar. That reminds me of the old Saturday Night Live skit. Ja, I imagine that is some type of Southeast Asian name. Could be China. Zhao AI, I guess. Anyway, let me know if that's how you want it pronounced. But welcome. Let's see. Take a nap. I did take a short little nap. Like on Mondays, especially if I stay up late on Sunday nights, I usually like to come home and take like a good hour and a half nap. And then I'm fresh. I'm pretty fresh, so I'm not really feeling it, but we probably won't go too long tonight, especially since I don't have anything absolutely prepared. Geek Ultras, I don't know. I actually didn't know that there was going to be an aurora, or I'd been hearing about the meteors, but we've tried tracking the meteors where we are here, and we have to go far west to really see anything because it has to be really, really dark, and there's just too much ambient light around here. Even if you go to like a forest preserve or something like that, there's still so much ambient light. So we usually go, when we have done it in the past, we usually go about 15 miles west, and then you're pretty much in the boonies where there isn't any ambient light. So that's usually what we do if we're going to look for things like that. Let's see what else. Twice already? Jeez. Sorry, Gaming with Smokey Dan. I'm trying not to make you drunk tonight. It's 2:35 a.m. here. Wow. So wait a minute. So 6 hours ahead. What are you in Hawaii? Or are you in American Samoa? You have to be further ahead. Wait a minute. Ahead. Sorry. No, you're in Europe. Yeah, sorry, you're in Europe. That's right. If you were in American Samoa, you'd be like way ahead. Yay, boonies, right up my alley. Yeah. Well, you're probably not that far away from the boonies. You could probably go just up into Wisconsin, like, is it Twin Lakes that's near you? There's probably not much in the way of lights up there. I don't drink booze and GMT UK time. Got it. Well, seriously, that puts you in a roundabout way of about 50, 75-mile diameter. Hang on a second. Those are really old. I don't know if you're going to like those, but you can try them. They won't kill me. No, they will not kill you. Whatever what might kill you only makes you stronger. Anyway, Retro Mike says, just because they don't have enough jobs to fulfill all providers on the network doesn't mean they are a scam. Just means they are ready to take on more clients. Jobs to fulfill all providers on the network. Oh, got it. We're talking about salad. Yeah, I mean, you can say that about any of the providers out there right now. College hasn't really kicked in yet, and that is a part of the demand. And actually, speaking of that, so Vast last night, I think I captured the picture. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway, I was getting Hashcat jobs on Vast. And hang on. Under documents. There it is. I think. Or not. Let me go into pictures here. Did I save it? Like I said, I just restarted my computer. Yeah, there it is. I don't know why it didn't find it. All right, let me switch up the screen. So anyway, so this job, I had let my Vast rig session like expire. I forgot to extend it. Shame on me. But when it expired, so then I put it back up and was getting this Hashcat job, and it would basically be on for like a few seconds, maybe up to like 30 seconds, and then it would just be off of it for like minutes, and then it'd be back on, and then minutes off, and it was just annoying because it may have prevented you from getting a long-lasting job, and so it was really frustrating. So now I have a long-lasting job. It's actually the same one that's on my Octo server as well. So sorry, a lot of things going through my head right now. And they are both high power jobs. They're both, they're going to use the full amount of the GPU. So did some experimentation because I had one GPU on the Octo server that's right next to the wall of the server. It unfortunately was getting pretty darn hot because I had another GPU right next to it on the other side. So I decided that I would use the NVIDIA SMI command -I space, and that one happened to be the number 1 GPU, not the number 0 for whatever reason, but the number 1 GPU, or maybe it was the second one. Maybe it's not the one right against the wall. The one right against the wall was getting a little hot, but not that bad. Then I went to the second, with the second one was the one that must have been getting hot. Anyway, I brought that one down from 450 watts down to 350 watts. NVIDIA-SMI-I space 1 space -PL space whatever wattage you want. So that's what I did. And he's still on it. Doesn't seem to mind. And one of the things I noticed is if you look at the actual clock frequency of the GPU, you got to really bring down the power quite a bit for it to have much of an effect. Now, 350 watts, it brings it down by about 300 megahertz. But if you go from 450 down to 400, it barely affects it at all. So right now, I've got all my GPUs on both my 8 GPU rig and my 4 GPU rig down to 390. And it's having very little effect at all. So that was a good thing. It brought the temps down. So it's running happy, but it's the same job. It's weird because it's like /.j. I have no idea what that is. I guess it's Men in Black running a job or something. I have no idea. But yeah, they're not giving you any hints on what is actually running on it. And like I said, I restarted my computer, so all my terminal sessions are gone. Which actually brings me up to another thing. Retro Mike, that was a great video you did on remotely. Definitely got me thinking about some things I want to do on my Unraid server. So one of them is I want some type of remote solution on there. And so I might use remotely. I might use, there were a couple other ones. I looked it up and did some searching, and there were some other ones that seemed like they might be more applicable, because I don't really want to do remote like support. That's not what I'm looking to do with it. I'm looking to, just be able to have a central location where I can kind of like putty in a way, but be able to also do it with Windows machines at the same time. So, God, it came from Smokey Dan says, NASA rendering space pics to remove aliens. Hey, that sounds about as good as any other explanation. Anyway, I like that. Okay, Geek of all trades. So he says, oh, you mean like the native solution on Synology? No, native solution on Synology is installing Portainer. Okay, installing Portainer and then installing an app, the remotely app on top of it. Oh, wait a minute. What else does that? Unraid. So no difference there. Might be a little bit of a difference in the way you do it, but from what I was watching on Retro Mike's video, it doesn't look like it. You just got to install Portainos. He didn't, obviously the video he did wasn't on Portainer, so I want to make sure I'm doing Portainer correctly. So I have some things I need to look at in order to make sure I'm doing it correctly. But I am starting to play around a little bit with the Unraid box, or at least like having plans and things I really, really want to do with that box. There was something else. I've been watching some other videos like Techno Tim. Who was the other one? There was somebody else I watched as far as what they were using, as far as what the type of things that they were running on their home server, basically. So I had a couple of things. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. Anyway, but really what I'm looking to do is I want a way of doing a sync with each of the computers, at least one, starting out with one folder to be syncing to the NAS, as well as being able to do the remote. I just think it'd be a lot easier if it was in one central location where I can click on the different things, as opposed to always having to open up an SSH session. And I'm probably gonna have to learn how to do SSH keys and things like that. But all of it will happen in good time. I'm looking forward to getting more into that. Let's see what else. I just enjoy triggering max voltage about Synology. I know you do. Let's see. Every time I create a video using my Synology, Max cringes. No, I don't cringe. I don't hate Synology. It's just not what I wanted to do. I like to do things the hard way, because I like to do things where I can configure exactly what I want to do. I mean, Synology is a great NAS solution, but I wanted more of an all-around solution where I could run a bunch of containers on it, run some VMs on it if I wanted to, be able to experiment with it instead of it just being a NAS. So that's why I did what I did. And so now I've got this one behind me, which is a Proxmox server, and now I've got my Unraid server. So I have two home servers doing various things. So that one behind me, in case for those people that don't know, is currently running Flux core on it, and it is rented. And hang on, I can bring it up. Where is it? Duplicate, drag it up here. Well, oh, that's right, because so currently I've made $26.65 at 24 cents an hour, and I've been doing it for 4 days and 15 hours. Now, what's running on this? This is running folding at home. So somebody has basically paid within the Flux OS ecosystem to have an instance of folding at home because they have a promotion going on right now until the end of the month. So keep that in mind. They are obviously doing this because it's a good thing to do, but also helps bring more GPUs on because there's more to rent. Right now, there are more opportunities in order to put more on there. So I'm debating on whether to put my second 3090 on there as well and take it off of Salad. So really it needs to be either a 3090 or a 4090, one of the two from my understanding. So anyway, that is doing well. I need that to get to about $60 or so because it pays out when it gets to at least 120 Flux, and Flux last time I checked was about 50 cents. So yeah, it needed to get to that amount. So that's one of the things I'm thinking, well, I will definitely get to 120 Flux by the end of the month, but man, that'd be pretty nice to have two of them on there. So I don't know. Right now, like I said, I have it running on Salad, which bear with me, I'll bring that up as well. And I'm just going to kill this window after we're done. Oh, it's going back down again. It was doing pretty well today. It was making 10 cents for most of the day. And then now it started heading back down again. So basically this is probably two 3060 Ti's that have actually been on forever. So that's probably the two 3060 Ti's plus the 3060, I'm guessing. So my 3090 probably isn't doing anything, and my 4070 and my 4070 Ti's probably aren't doing anything. But it, again, it had a pretty good day, had a couple of, big jumps. So not a bad day at all. I'm basically aiming for at least $10 a day, basically doing $300 a month. That will make me happy. So if we look at 7 days, you can see yesterday was pretty weak. It was definitely a slow day yesterday, but today we're already above it. So this one will probably hit $10. I know last 24 hours at 11, but it's all about the timing of when the day ends. But for the most part, I've had a few days over 10 and a few days under. So it's been kind of up and down. I was at over $10 a lot more when I had 4090s on there, obviously, but I got no complaints. Where else are you going to make, a couple of bucks a day, over $1 a day on a 3060 Ti or a 3060? Like nowhere. Not mining anything, that's for sure. So I am happy with that, especially considering how low power it is. So it's a good thing. Good thing. There was something else I was going to bring up, and I don't remember what it was, but that's okay. And then Vast, I can't show you that dashboard because it has my IP address on it. So, but that one actually, oh, you know what? I can bring something up here. Hold on. I got to sign in. Give me a sec. I'll bring up my earnings because I don't think that has any, that does not have any incriminating evidence. And obviously this is all before power. So let me duplicate that. There we go. Bring that up here. So this one's done pretty well. Like last, you can tell I now had, the 4 4090s running on their own rig. So I basically got an extra about $100 out of that by doing that. Now this coming week, because I had probably was off for about 2 days, the 8 GPU rig. It took about 2 days for it to basically get something until about midday today. So that's like losing like $80. So it's probably not going to hit over $400 this week. But, again, it'll be like $370, $380, somewhere in that range, most likely. So no complaints. But if it continues on, I should get really close to 500. I also have a 3090 that is also running, and all of them are verified, which really helps out with the earnings. So, you can see why I'm still on Vast. Yes, it's 12 4090s and one 3090. So yes, you would certainly hope that you were making a decent amount with that amount. But the good thing about it is once you find a job, they generally stay. Of course, I just said that, and I bet if I check, wouldn't that just be wonderful? If I checked and then that job was now gone. Let's see. Nope, still there. Phew. I didn't jinx myself, at least not yet. Let's see. Gaming with Smoky Dan, heading off to get some sleep. Have a joyful night, everybody. Wish I could stay, but passing out. So anyway, who else is going to keep me honest? But anyway, I appreciate you being here, Gaming with Smoky Dan, considering how late this is in the day for you. Apologize for going on late, but I just wanted to spend some time with the fam. So appreciate you being here. Bacon, eggs, and hash. What's the power consumption per day on that? Again, it depends. So like my previous 8 GPU rig, my previous job that was on the 8 GPU rig was only using 300 watts per GPU. It's just standard right out of the box. Now it was going to use 450, but I scaled it back to 390. So let's do the math on what I have it set at. So we take 390 times 8. Well, actually, we'll do 390 times 12 and then subtract 40 for the one that's only running at 350. 390 times 12 equals, and then minus 40. So it is using 4,600 watts. And that seems a little low. Let's just call it 5,000 watts because I think that's more accurate. I do have one other machine running on the 30 amp circuit, so I think that's what's taking up about 400 watts. But let's just call it 5K. So if we do 5 times 0.12, cost me 60 cents an hour. Okay, times 24, cost me $14.40 a day. Okay, now if you look at how much I'm making on each of them, which is let's see, it's basically the 4 GPU rig is making about $1 a day, like 1/1000th of a cent less than a buck a day. So I'm just going to call it $1. And the other one's making $1.80 a day. Okay, so that's $2.80. Sorry, not a day, an hour. $2.80 an hour, and this is just for the 4090s. I also have the 3090, but that's going to mess things up a bit. So let's just look at just the 4090s, and then I can do the calculation on the 3090. So what did I say? $2.80. So that was $14.40 times 24, $67, and then you subtract out the $14.40, making about $53 a day on the 4090s. So then multiply it times 30, basically making not quite enough to pay off a 4090 in a month. I'm hoping that when we start getting back into school, there'll be more demand and be able to make a bit more on the GPUs. But way back when, I was making, well, whatever it was, 45 cents times 0.75. They changed the pricing scheme. So times 0.75. So I was making closer to 33 cents a GPU. So about another 8 cents. That makes a big difference. So hopefully things will increase. I've also started looking into, there is, let me see, let me actually bring it up. Let me open Discord because I know exactly where it is. So I was looking, and if you look at my, which I can't because it has my IP address on it, but if you look at my 8 GPU rig on VAST, its iPerf score is below others. And that's because it's on 8 lanes per GPU instead of 16. So I started looking, and I've got an H12 SSL Supermicro motherboard. And I saw others that had 8 GPUs, but they were saying buy 16. And I'm like, how? How can you do that if there's only, first of all, there's only 7 PCIe slots. 5 of them are by 16. So great. 5, no problem. Then there's 2 that are by 8. So I was like, well, maybe there's a way to combine them. Maybe. And so then I started looking through like not like the block diagram basically. And I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe if I use this connector with this slot and this connector with this slot, maybe I could get up to 7, but I could not figure out a way to get up to 8. And this thing has, what was it? It's like 90, it's not 96. Is it 96? I don't know. It was enough for well more than 8 by 16, 8 GPU by 16s. So the number of lanes was not a problem at all. So I'm like, how do they do this? So then this person in the vast Discord showed me this, and I'm still not sure how the heck this works. Hang on. All right, let me bring this up here. Is this little doodad. So these are spaced out 5 slots. Holy cow. I had no idea how expensive this thing was. I had not looked at the price until now. Wow, that would take forever to break even on, I think. Oh my gosh. That's quite the shock. But regardless, how does this thing all of a sudden make all 4 of these GPUs look like by 16 when it only has 16 lanes coming into it? Right here, let me zoom in. So right here are the SlimSAS connectors. Each one of these is 8 lanes. Now I know that this is like a switching PCI or something. So is it switching so darn fast between these? But then the bandwidth has got to be affected by that. There's only so much bandwidth that these can use. So how is it fooling it into thinking that it's all by 16? I don't know. Yeah, if anybody knows, Retro Mike, let me know. And I say, okay, I already answered that bacon, eggs, and hash. And it's gone. What's gone? Oh, Gaming Smoky Dan's gone. Got it. Atomic Star, gonna have to make it back down to Chicago. My daughter loves the Brandy Melville store. Got it. Good to see you, Hawk. Seems like shenanigans to me. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. So I was going to reach out to the guy that does the website or does all this stuff and ask him about it. Like I said, I'm probably not going to get that. That's pricey. That's as much as the motherboard. That's crazy. But I suppose he gets it. Yeah. And maybe there's some other ones in here too. So this is PCIe Gen 4 switch backplane. Unless they're looking at these. Yeah, that's what these are. There's a 4 and there's a 5. So they have it for Gen 4 and Gen 5. Gen 5 makes sense. That makes more sense because in there, it'll actually like do a changeover from Gen 5 to Gen 4. So if you have 16 lanes of Gen 5, that's equivalent to 32 lanes of Gen 4. That was what I was reading about on that one. All right, let's see. What else are you guys saying here? Let's see. It likely would work if you only had one PCI slot and you were using it to convert to 4 slots, but you're going to be limited by the CPU and chipset. No, I know you're going to be limited by, but it's an EPYC. So I'm not worried about that. The number of lanes is there. So that's definitely not the problem. But the ability to, you only have 2 SlimSAS connectors. Are they tied to, I think they're tied to specific lanes. That's my understanding. Like I said, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's just about speed and the lanes aren't specifically tied to the SlimSAS connectors. I don't know. Anyway, I found it interesting. So I may be doing some more research into it. Yeah. Anyway, it was just one of the things I was thinking about over the weekend, and I asked the guy this morning. So basically you can see this guy was responding to me. I was like, this has been bugging me. I see H12 SSL rigs with 84090s at by 16. Yes, the CPU has enough lanes, but how do you plug everything in? There's not enough connectors, basically what I said. So, hey, Second TL, did you ever get an answer to your question? NVIDIA container-CLI device error 3 unknown device. I don't remember what this was. I've had something similar to this before. I don't know. Have you done a search on Discord by any chance to see? So, all right, moving on. Keep the questions coming. The lane bifurcation tricks the system. Yeah, maybe. That's what I was kind of thinking, maybe. I just would, obviously I don't want to spend that. Well, first of all, I don't want to spend that much money, but I certainly don't want to spend that much money on something and then not have it work. That would really suck. Really suck. So yeah. What else was I going to talk about tonight? Talked about Unraid. Well, I didn't talk about the markets yet. And they're okay. So I've been watching Lark. He actually goes on at 9:30. He would have to like me in order to have me raid him, though. Maybe I'll reach out to him and see if he would link the two channels so that I can raid him on Monday nights. That'd be cool, actually. But yeah, he's really good. Always brings up a lot of great stories. Kind of really hit fast with all the news stories of the day. I think he's on at least 5 times a week. I know he's on Sunday, so he might be on like every day of the week. I'm not sure. But yeah, check him out. Subscribe to him, and he's on at 9:30 Central Time. So he's on a little late. He's in New Zealand, so for him, it's tomorrow by the time he streams. So yeah, probably the reason why he streams on Sunday night. He probably doesn't stream on Friday night because that would be Saturday morning for him. So I don't know. I usually watch him during the week, and Sunday nights. I definitely catch him on Sunday nights. Yes, welcome, Red Panda. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Appreciate that. Who else just showed up? Anybody? Bueller? So we are up to 41 concurrent viewers. A little lower than normal, but I expected that tonight. There was something else going on. What about LTC? Didn't get the weekly LTC pump from Max. Yeah, it's doing okay. It's certainly not where it should be. But what was interesting was that Altcoin Daily, actually this was on Chump's Daily Grind this morning. He had Altcoin Daily. I don't know which day it was from, but did a review of a question and answer during the Litecoin conference. And anyway, they were kind of pumping it up a little bit. And Altcoin Daily gave a prediction of Litecoin hitting 1,000 during this bull run. And he's like, now I know, hear me out. And he gave reasons, and it was compelling. It was definitely compelling. I'm not sure I'm convinced that it's going to go that high, but it's compelling. He said, well, the last bull run, DeFi was the main thing. And I'm like, yeah, the last bull run was DeFi. I get that, but Bitcoin went up. There were plenty of other non-DeFi coins that did really, really well, that exceeded their previous all-time highs, but yet Litecoin didn't. So he was saying that he thought Litecoin was held back during the last bull run because it wasn't a narrative. Everything they were doing was not a narrative. This time, actually what Litecoin is doing, which is basically making it so that people can do crypto transactions cheaper, faster, easier, not necessarily faster, but cheaper and easier. That's one of the reasons why I think Cardano is going to do well because you're looking at adoption, looking at what are people doing with the coins. I think that's going to be, it already has become somewhat of a theme, but I think it's going to become even more of a theme this go around. And that's the point he was making. And because of that, that's why he was predicting 1,000. So that would be quite the run. That would be over 15 times. 15 times. 900 is 15 times from 60. So you're looking at 16, almost 17 times. Wow. That would be freaking amazing if that happened. I'm not convinced. Certainly not financial advice from me. I just found it interesting that somebody as well known as Altcoin Daily stuck his neck out. And it's not that it's financial advice or anything. I get all that. But he made the prediction that he thought it was going to go to 1,000. Now it makes me really wonder, how have his predictions gone in the past? Have they come to fruition? So that was one thing he talked about last night, which I found interesting. The other thing he talked about was the death cross. That is when Bitcoin, well, anything actually, where the 50-day moving average crosses over the 200-day moving average, which indicates that it's going to go down. With that said, it was really interesting. He had a bunch of trading information on there as far as what direction is Bitcoin going to go. There was far more evidence that Bitcoin will go up based upon history than go down. With that said, he also made the point of soft landing and lower interest rates are good. Hard landing and lower interest rates is bad. That it will cause markets to go down. So I forget, it was Techman or somebody else on Twitter basically made that point that markets go down when there is a recession. So if there is a recession, the markets will go down and interest rates will go down. Obviously, interest rates are going down to try to boost the overall economy. So it could be pretty interesting. And then once you get into a recession, you're talking minimum 9 months, probably closer to 12 to 15 for the most part. So it could be a little while. And certainly what I find really interesting is that now that there's some economic data that's making people start to worry, maybe we're heading into a recession, especially, this is the other thing. The reason why the markets went down, or one of the big reasons why the markets went down, again, this is something that Lark had talked about, and I had others talk about it as well, was the unwinding of the Japan trade. What I mean by that is that people were borrowing against the yen. Okay, they were borrowing yen because the interest rates were stupid low, and then turning it into dollars and then investing those dollars, which is great if the actual exchange rate stays the same. The problem is that when Japan raises rates, which was a bit unexpected, again, a bit unexpected didn't help, but when they raise rates, that is going to increase the value of the yen against the dollar. So when somebody is like, oh crap, I got to pay, didn't have to pay because it was 0% before, or very little. Now it's gone up to 0.25%. Now my dollars are going to take a bit to actually pay that off, because now the amount that I've actually borrowed has been reduced in value, which means I need more dollars to pay off what so basically you have this unwinding of this trade where people were like, I need to get out of my leverage so that I can pay off these Japan basically leverage accounts. Okay. So that was a big part of what happened with the downturn in the market. So interest rates can have good effects and bad effects. So yeah. So anyway, that's what happened there. So it'll be interesting to see if we do in fact go into a recession, which I believe we are going to. I know what I was going to say. So people started seeing that the stock market went down, even though it was mainly due to that, or a big portion of it was that. Had nothing to do with the overall economy. It had to do with Japan's economy versus ours. This is what people are keying on, saying, oh, the stock market's going down. And I have to admit, I fell into that trap initially as well. But now people are looking for signs that say, yep, we're headed into a recession. Before they're like, oh, yeah, there's some layoffs. There's some layoffs. Now, oh my gosh, Intel laid off 4,000 people. This company laid off 4,000 people. This company laid off 10,000 people. All of that now is front page news because people are now looking for it and expecting it. And so now it's starting to become, this is the problem, is that when this starts to happen, people go, oh crap, I got to start saving because, man, I don't know what's going to happen to my job. You know, what's going to happen to my stocks? Should I sell? Everybody gets nervous. And so everybody stops what they were doing before and reevaluating. And what does that do? That stops economic prosperity, I guess, you know, economic activity. It certainly slows it down. Well, like I said, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now it's like, oh, wait a minute. Last quarter, spending was down. Oh, economy's slowing. And then that gets in consumers' mind as well. Then actually the consumers are slowing down spending because they were worried. And now rightfully so, because this is the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's why a soft landing is so hard because of that. It's part of human nature. So that's the reason, by the way, that's the reason why I don't care who's in office. Whoever's in office is going to say, no, we're not in a recession, because they're trying to stop the self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what they're trying to do. Because if they can stop that self-fulfilling prophecy, even if it isn't a downturn, like a business downturn, business-directed downturn, then at least they've stymied it a bit and slowed it down. And maybe at that point, then interest rates can kind of kick in and generate that demand again, where people are saying, oh, money's cheap. Great. I'm going to start investing again. Because right now, that's part of the problem is money, the cost of money right now, the cost to borrow money is so high that it's just not worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze at this point. And so companies are being like, okay, well, what's the best use of money at this point? Well, okay, I might have to be cutting back on costs because now my customers who aren't making as much are asking me to share some of the pain, which means now I got to lay off some people. It becomes this downward spiral because one thing affects another. So hopefully we will get through this summer because, a lot of these like things seem to happen in the summer. I don't know. I haven't looked at the history, but it's common that markets go down during the summer. So I'm hoping we get to October and everything will kind of pick back up. Christmas will be good. Everybody will start picking up because of Christmas. And then, the problem is if it gets too bad before Christmas, then that'll really screw things up because people won't buy as much for Christmas. So anyway, we shall see what happens. Vinny Del Greco, human. Yes, it is human nature. My buddy at Fortinet got laid off. Yeah, there's a lot of layoffs going on. A lot of layoffs. Again, but if you look at it as a whole, it's not that many. It's just that we're now hearing about it in the news. I was hearing about people getting laid off 6 months ago. Right lately, I haven't heard of anybody getting laid off personally. So yes, there are people that are getting laid off. And like I said, I know about it in the news. I just don't know anybody personally. But like I said, 6 months ago, I knew a bunch of people that were getting laid off. So it's been ongoing. The good thing is that there are enough jobs out there. In fact, I did not check that message. I did get a call from a recruiter today. So we'll see what that guy has to say. This would be the third job he's tried to recruit me for. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let's see. What else? Stymie. Word of the day right there. Yeah. Should I look it up? Let's look at the definition of stymie. I don't even know if you spelled it right. I don't even know how to spell it. So stymie definition. The word stymie, see, I didn't spell it right. S-T-Y-M-I-E is a verb that means to hinder, block, or thwart. For example, constantly texting with your friends will stymie your effort to finish your homework. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on a second. What less than 20-year-old is using the word stymie? That's an old person word. Yeah, I don't think so. That sentence would never be spoken. Oh, well, I guess if it's I take that back. If that's a parent saying that to their kid, okay, got it. Yeah, actually, that would work. Oh, wait a minute. But the word stymie originated on the golf course in Scotland, where it referred to an opponent's ball blocking your own ball's path to the cup. Interesting. I always like origins of words. They're always interesting. All right, let's see. Well, thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Goat. It's a fucking goat. Let's see. Dollar Pigeon or Christmas is canceled. Bah humbug. Yeah, man. I love visiting with family. I just hate the whole Christmas shopping and people get nuts, and yeah, I just don't like that. Speaking of Christmas, Retro Mike says, it's not too early for the Christmas tree. Yes, it is. It's too early. August. Seriously? It isn't coming up before October. October would be the earliest. Definitely not before October. Red Panda just said, I just talked with a dude from Intel who's getting laid off, and he's getting $180,000 severance and asked me what ASICs to buy. Yeah. About that. What did you tell him? I would advise other things to generate cash. Yeah, just buy BTC, not ASICs. I agree. Buy crypto. I would say diversify. BTC is definitely a good safe bet, but I think there's going to be many others that are going to increase way more than Bitcoin this bull run, in my opinion. Not financial advice. Let's see. Malarkey. Oh, so Vinny Del Greco is one of those. You're one of those, aren't you? You're a Bitcoin maxi. Wow. I will never block another man's ball's path to the cup. That's not cool, man. I was kind of thinking that when I said that. We're just two old, dirty old men. Goat. That's what we are. Bacon, Eggs, and Hash says, I've had a lot of people asking me about crypto lately, also scared about losing their jobs. Yeah, I'm not scared. I'm concerned. There's just always going to be changes, especially when you're in logistics. There's always going to be changes. So you have to be prepared. So I've definitely thought, like, okay, what would I do? I've thought, like, I know I only have 5,000 subscribers. I've got a long way to go. But what this is what has started to get me a little motivated. I know there's not been any content. I have trouble with motivation right now. Work gets me tired. I actually was motivated to do stuff on Saturday, but I needed to do a bunch of other stuff. Since I'm home alone, needed to do some other things. And so by the time I was done doing those things, I was a little bit less motivated. So anyway, I need to make it a priority and where it gets comfortable. Right now, I'm just not, literally what it comes down to. I used to relate this to sales. I asked a bicycle rep when I was in the bicycle business, like, well, what would you say is the key thing? What would be the one piece of advice you'd give to a starting out sales rep? He's like, the key is the absolute key to being successful is turning the key in the morning. I'm like, what? He's like, getting in your car and turning it on and driving away. That is the key to being successful in this business. Meaning, go out and see your customers. You have a local market. They're not that far away. Get a schedule. Stick to that schedule Your dealers will appreciate it and they will reward you. And he was very right. Dan was a wise man. Dan was a very wise man. So appreciated that advice because I was his competitor at that point. So yeah, bike industry is a little bit different. Yes, you're competitors, but there's a lot of camaraderie amongst people in the industry, regardless of what company you work for. Let's see. Red Panda Mining. So what I'm hearing is Intel is hiring for under $180,000 salary. I'm in. Maybe not where they would live if it's Silicon Valley. Man, Silicon Valley is super expensive to live there. Shoot, I remember this was back in 2001 after 9/11, like right after 9/11. So between September and December, I think it was like November timeframe of 2001. And I was making a good buck, making more than what I'm making now, back in 2001. This was not in the mortgage industry. This was pre-mortgage industry. But now I was out of work because of, not because of 9/11, but because of AT&T broadband getting bought out by Comcast. AT&T broadband was like 40 some odd % of our business in our division. And they were 2 years built out and they just shut everything down. So we lost 40% of our business, and then everybody else took notice and they slowed their roll on their rollouts as well. So we were hurting. And so I got through the first 2 layoffs, but the third one I got caught. Funny story. I won't go into that now, but anyway, so I was laid off. Got an interview with a couple different companies, but the one that was out there was Digital Microwave, and learned some lessons. Anyway, I went out there, had an interview, everything went great, was looking at houses out there. And this was actually, I was looking at the houses before I actually had the interview. And because they said, yeah, go out and look at houses. I think they kind of had thought because I was referred, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, and so I kind of got an idea of what the cost of living was. And I said, man, it's expensive out here. I'm like, just to be the same as to what I was making, I'm going to have to make 60% more than what I was making before. And they're like, yeah, we know. Probably even a little bit more than that. I was like, what? That was a crazy amount of money in my mind at the time. I was like, wow. Ended up, long story short, they had one more person they wanted me to interview with. I had kids at home. They called me during dinner without an appointment and said, are you free? I said, sure, but I was distracted and had a bad interview with that last decision maker, and they made a choice to go somewhere else, which in hindsight is a good thing. I'm glad I did not move out to the West Coast. That would have been a very tough move. So everything works out for a reason, I guess. Let's see, what else? Tiny Head Max. Oh, sorry. Surprised my wife's not yelling from the other room. I have it stuck on the stymie thing. All right, there we go. Happy. Code has been, I've been stripping in the evenings. Yeah, I know. I noticed. I saw the stripper pole in your basement. I saw it. You're hiding it off to the side, but you can still see it. You guys look. Next time you look at his set, okay? Now he's probably going to turn the camera a little bit now, but there's a stripper pole in his basement. I'm telling you. Was going to switch to the matinee show, but these blue hairs are ruthless. Yes, they are. That blue dye makes them really tactile and touchy. Okay. Enough's enough. Let's see. Everyone has a plan. The first rule of business is plan A will fail. Go straight to plan B. You're judged on failing. You're judged on how you get back up. Yes, that is true. Got to keep on keeping on is really what it comes down to. Good point, Bacon, Eggs, and Hash. I knew what you meant. You're not judged on failing. You're judged on if you get up after a failure. Do you keep trying? It's RGB. Oh, you didn't have the lights on. Adds to the tucking funds. Glitter everywhere. Oh, that's funny. That is very funny. All right, let's take a look at where the markets are at. Let's look at market coin market cap. I was having a brain fart. So we're at 52. All right, now I'll go back. There we go. 52. We're at neutral right now. Bitcoin is heading back up to 60 again. Up 6.7% in the last 7 days. 1.71% today. Ethereum's up a bit more. That's not a huge surprise, I don't think. Solana's up 1.6. So nothing crazy, but it's better than down. Dogecoin up by 5%. Tron's down. That's interesting. It seemed like there were a lot of things going positive for. Oh, not Tron. Sorry, I'm thinking Ton. Never mind. Bitcoin Cash, Polkadot, not doing so well, but that was another thing that was on Lark last night. He was talking about Polkadot, and I don't know, it gave me some warm fuzzies about it. I still believe this is a winner. I think you can get into a great discount, not financial advice. Same thing with Chainlink. Let's see. Litecoin's at 20. Was it 19 just a little bit ago? Casp was at 22. But it's up to 62 now. So that's good. I'm just trying to see what might have passed it. Was it one of the ones up here? No, it couldn't have been. There was nothing up that much. I'm not sure. I swear to God, it was at 19 earlier today on my phone. The next closest thing is near, but near must have been below it, I guess. Whatever. Let's see what else. Let's take a look at some other ones. Let's look at some and Filecoin's at 374. I think this is another sleeping one out there. So let me go to my watch list. I think it's watch list. Yeah, watch list. We'll go below. So Render up 3%. I mean, everything seems to be up about 3 to 5%. Celestia is up 10%. Helium's up 15% today. 50%. I own nothing of Helium. I own barely anything. I think my $2 worth of Helium went up to $3. Big deal. Jupiter is getting up there a bit. All right, this is what I want to start on. Raven Coin up 3%. So again, things are kind of going up. Flux up 0.61C. It's right at 50%. Hive Mapper getting smoked. It was up a little. It was up a while ago. I think it. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, I thought so. It was up. Well, this isn't 24 hours. I want to look at 7 days. Yeah, it was up near 8 cents like 7 days ago. Let's look at 1 month, and you can see that wasn't even the peak. Peak was at like 8.5. But you can see it's still up from 30 days ago. It just kind of went up and came right back down. That's kind of a bummer. Should have gotten out at 8 cents. Let's see. Alephium doing okay. And Dynex has had some issues. I mean, the key thing here, I guess most things are up over 7 days, but Dynex down 10%. Ouch. Next to not doing so hot. Radiant getting smoked in the last 7 days. Man, I don't know if that one's ever going to come back. We'll have to wait and see. Riding that one straight to the bottom. Pyron up 76%. I did not see that. I have not been paying attention. I am still on Celestia or whatever that is. I don't know, the one that starts with an X. Just been mining that blindly and then putting it into Litecoin. But I wonder, let's actually look at not Hive. Hash rate. I need more sleep. There we go. We'll look at a 3070 Ti since I have a bunch of those. Let's see where Pyron is making 4 cents at 8 cents power cost. Move that up to a more typical 12 cents. And everything's losing money at that point. So I'm at 8 cents because I'm only mining at night. So yeah, can make some money, but I'm on, where is it? Ooh, keep going. Oh, that's bad. Zealous. I'm breaking even. That's okay. I mean, it says 1 cent over a day at one. So wow, I've got 3070 Ti's, 37. I got 24 GPUs. I've made 24 cents today mining. Woo, I'm gonna get rich. Gonna get rich. But it's an easy way to get some money into the crypto market, just a little bit at a time. Through my power bill, basically. And let's go back here. What else do we got? Neoxa. Oh, it's actually kind of found a little bit of life. Up to almost up 0.001 cent. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you do $1 million. That's like $1,000 now just to do. That's only $1,000 to do a node. So if we go to 1 month, you can see it's down quite a bit, 15% in 1 month. And if we look at 1 year, it's going to be bad, 56% down from 1 year ago. But that doesn't even include the pump. Was it 0.005, and now we're at 0.001. Lost 80% from the high. Ouch. And it just doesn't seem to be getting the like Web3 gaming love anymore. So hopefully that'll turn itself around when the bull market comes. We shall see. All right, let me check the chat. Let's see. Yes, Zealous. That was the one I was trying to think of. Yeah, Pyron's been doing well. Yep. Yeah. Golden Wolf. Fire sale everywhere and not enough liquidity on my end. Cry. I know. I have some liquidity, but I need it to pay my taxes. So I cannot be doing that right now. Got to be responsible. Oh. Old lady's gonna edit a video, then hit the sack. Okay, yeah. Don't stymie anyone on the way to the bed, Vinny. I mean, Goat. Bacon Eggs Hash says, I'm big on Chainlink. I hold a lot of it. I think it's a good one. Definitely a good one. I hold some. I'm pretty diversified, actually. It's like almost kind of like FOMO. There's certain things I won't invest in Ethereum. Well, let's go back to the top. I'll tell you the things I'm not invested in, because that's probably a shorter list. And so that's actually my watch list. But so I don't hold Ethereum. I don't actually hold Tether, although I use it occasionally. No BNB. I do hold Solana. No USDC. No XRP. No Toncoin. No Dogecoin. I do hold Cardano. That's actually my number 3 holding, behind Flux and Bitcoin. I do not hold Tron. I do hold Avalanche. I do not hold Shiba, because I don't do meme coins. I don't hold Bitcoin Cash. I do hold Polkadot and Chainlink. I'm going to start now. I can start going to things I do hold. So I do hold Litecoin and Polygon and Caspa and Uniswap. Let's see what else going. I hold a very little of ETC. Very, very, very little. Let's see, what else do I hold? Now we're starting Filecoin. Still believe in Filecoin. Arbitrum's interesting. I don't hold any, but I find that one interesting. I don't hold Render. I find that interesting. Immutable MX is another one I don't hold, but I find interesting. I do hold Cat with Hat, not Dog with Hat. It's about like 1 million of it, which is worth like, I don't know, $5 or something. Let's see what else. I think that pretty much covers the top 100. I'm like I said, I hold like $2 of helium. I hold the IoT token, and then I do hold Jupiter. That's one that I hold. I'm thinking that one will be interesting. I may get out of that towards like right after the next airdrop next year. Don't know. I hold Algorand. Let's see, what else do I hold? I think that's funny, PayPal. Oh, I think that's the last thing I hold in the top 100. Yeah, I don't hold Conflux either. So that's what I hold in the top 100. Only $31 to run a pre-search node now too. Yeah, I do still have. I have three things worth of a pre-search node running on one node, and I know it doesn't pay as much, but considering how much it's paying, it's probably not even worth it to run the one. I am running it on Petunia. Would not recommend that. My, let's see. Maybe I didn't bring it up. I had lost my main set of tabs. I couldn't believe, I don't know why I couldn't get it back, but I had lost my main set of tabs, so I had to recreate it. I have not brought back my pre-search node page yet. But anyway, Petunia, the reliability factor that factors in how much you make is horrible on Petunia. Flux looks like absolutely golden compared to Petunia. So I've thought about trying to run it maybe on Node Orbit possibly, but how much you actually make, I mean, you're kind of just not really making a lot. So don't know if I want to go through that trouble. I do have, I started talking about it. I do have both a Flux node and a Nioxa node running on that computer back there. So basically I've got a Flux core with the GPU running. I have a Flux node, a Nimbus node running on that, as well as a Nioxa node running on that. So, and when that thing gets screwed up, like it shuts off or whatever, and things don't come back up right, it's a major pain to get everything back up and running. Because it doesn't happen that often, so that when I have to do it, yeah. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Let's go back to the chat. Cobra? CDRBAZ. Afternoon to you as well. Sorry, I don't know how to say that without just spelling it out. Wonder if you could run a pre-search node on your Flux node. Yes, I believe so. Somebody told me that you could do that. When I ran a Flux node on Flux, I just paid for it. I didn't run it on my own node. But like I said, somebody told me that you could. I don't know. Not sure about. Let's see. What do I have? How many jobs do I have running on my node? That is the question. Pulling up the handy dandy second TL dashboard. I have three running on my, 3 apps running on my node. Probably one of them, at least one of them is going to be folding at home. Yeah, you can just run it on home, run it at home. There's different guides out there to be able to do that. I have only enough resources. Well, it depends on how big the VM needs to be. Pre-search, I think, is pretty small. I'm not sure if it's 2 virtual cores or 4 virtual cores. Not sure. The Flux Nimbus node is taking, it's taking half of the cores on that. It's taking 16 virtual cores because that's what's required. And then 4 I'm using for the Flux core. And then I've got 2 running on a VM. And I think 2 running for the Nioxa node. I know I didn't need much for the Nioxa node. I think it was only 2. So that's what I got running on that. So that's how all 16 are being used. Let's see, what else? My one node has 3 things running on it, LOL. One is a Minecraft server. Yeah, I have no idea how much resources that takes. But yeah, Proxmox, love it. Pretty easy to set up. I have GPU pass-through, obviously, running on that. I was able to get that set up. It really wasn't that hard. I just had to follow had to find the right instructions, and then I needed to follow those instructions. And it worked, thankfully. Alrighty, guys, wow, it's been well over an hour. I'm going to call it a night. Appreciate you guys all being here. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd appreciate if you guys could subscribe if you find value in this type of content. Especially if you like tonight's stream, please hit the like on the way out. I'm trying to see I can't tell how many likes I got because I'm not looking at the right page. But if you haven't hit the like button, I would appreciate it if you could. It is the YouTube algorithm and it forces me to ask you, unfortunately. So, alrighty, guys, appreciate you guys all being here. Don't forget, tomorrow night is Terahash Tuesday, and Wednesday night is Vistang and Dave. And I'm trying to remember the name of it. Wired Wednesdays. That's what it is. And I think it's become pretty regular that Hawk is streaming on Thursday. So there is your streaming schedule for the week. There you go. And I will be back on Monday, and we will see you also on Saturday Night Live on Chump's channel. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody. The General is out. See ya.